you're concerned about what's going on in Russia. Tell us about it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. First of all, I was born in Finland, raised in Canada, but married in the Soviet Union, so my wife is from Russia.
Wow.
Yes, we have been working in Russia for the last 38 years in media. First to the Soviet Union by superpower radio programming, beamed in from the West into the Soviet Union. Thereafter transitioning into television, where Huntley Street came into the picture pretty strong. Back in 1982, my first encounter with Huntley Street was in Germany when Crossroads, or when Huntley Street put on a vision casting event for the European Christians churches, challenging them to step out into Christian television in Europe.
And you were in that audience.
So I was in that audience, actually by chance. I was actually standing in for someone who was supposed to be there, but couldn't, and they tried to find someone who spoke English, so they sent me. And not knowing that I would ever be on TV, but the Lord has led us definitely into that in the Soviet Union to reach, first of all, 300 million people, including the Warsaw Pact countries back in 1991 when the Soviet Union opened up. And then thereafter, just working closely with Crossroads Television, David Maines. Crossroads gave us a mobile unit, that is a television production facility on wheels, which was stationed in Russia for a long time, and also, then after that we transferred it to Kiev into the Ukraine to do work there. We've been very heavily involved. But at that time, Russia was wide open to the gospel. The pendulum had swung from persecution in the Soviet Union, persecution of the church, to massive freedoms that swept the country.
Churches were filled.
Churches were filled. People were coming to the Lord. It was an unprecedented time of evangelism in the great land of Russia at that time. Now, years later, we are seeing the pendulum. It is swinging in the opposite direction again towards what it was under the Soviet Union. Big time. It's big time. And we have received a plea from the Russian churches, 2,300 churches, coast to coast across Russia, saying, please help us to utilize this last moment of freedom, we believe, they say, to reach our people.
So, Hannu, as we've been watching the geopolitical expansion of Russia's leadership, wanting to maybe recapture what the glory years were for them as they see it historically, we've seen the expansion geopolitically, but is that meaning that within the country you're sensing that there's a narrowness of liberties and freedoms that's occurring simultaneous?
Yes. The Russian government has cracked down on churches, evangelical churches across the nation, that is Pentecostal, Baptist, Methodist, Adventist, all the ones that are outside the Russian Orthodox Church. And they actually have a great fear that this evangelical church community, which is big in Russia,
it is.
Would create in their minds, the minds of the KGB, or today it's called the FSB, instability in Russia because of what they saw happening in the Ukraine. And in the Ukraine, of course, we saw that there was a Baptist president right after President Yanukovych fled to Russia in the beginning of this year. So they're saying if the Baptists, so to speak, played a role in what happened in the Ukraine, they're saying we don't want to have any part of this in Russia. So they are closing the nation down to that kind of a scenario.
So what did you get from, I think the number was 2,300 church leaders? Would these be everything from Baptist Union to Pentecostal Union to charismatic groups
we work
across the board?
we work primarily with two of the biggest unions in Russia. One is the Pentecostal Union, and the other one is the Baptist Union. We've had a relationship with them for 30 years.
Well done.
It continues to this day. So they have asked us for 5 million tools for evangelism, and we have a book which we call God Gives You the Power to Change, which we use in all of our megacity campaigns around the world. We've done it in 40 big cities in Russia, in Kiev, in the Ukraine, and now they want 5 million of these books as soon as possible to be printed inside Russia, because there are 2,300 churches that want to take these, and they want to use them to reach people one-on-one on the streets, because we can't use media anymore. It's off limits.
So the government is tightening in every way, and eventually, if things don't change, you see that it'll be the tightening just like it was in the pre-1991 years.
Precisely. The government has already put television media off limits, radio media off limits. They've also started to put surveillance on the internet. You can't use the internet. If you talk about certain things on the internet, Facebook or Twitter, whatever, and Yandex in Russia, they will penalize you. You can be fined, and you can even be put into prison for saying certain things on the internet. There's a real crackdown in Russia in this sense, and so
you want
liberties of the church.
but you can still distribute material, resources that are gospel based, and they're requesting 5 million of these.
Correct. 18 months ago, we printed 1 million of these booklets, which are, again, I say, God gives you the power to change, which are transformation stories in Russian from Russia, with the prayer of salvation, first steps of faith, in your new life of faith with Jesus.
Right.
The 4 spiritual laws. It's all in that same booklet. And they want, 5 million of these for the churches. 18 months ago, we printed 1 million of these already. And when they came back to us just recently, said, you know what happened to those 1 million booklets? We had our churches and our volunteers throughout the country on the streets for 18 months. They have prayed with 1 million people to receive Jesus Christ in Russia.
So you have a website. Is there a way that people can give a secure online donation or get more information?
We absolutely do.
What is the website? We're going to put it on the lower third of the screen.
Yeah, it's gcmediaministries.com. And certainly we have the tax deductible status in Canada, so we can issue the receipts and everything else. One booklet costs 20 cents.
Oh my!
And so even $100.
Oh my!
We'll print 500.
And
booklets.
Think about that. There were 2 million spread earlier of
1
this.
million earlier.
1 million earlier, and then you have that kind of response of people praying to receive Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
So we want to encourage you to get behind this effort and help our partner, who is in Finland but has strategic ministry of evangelism involved in Russia, and your investment in GC Media, Great Commission Media Ministries, can make a huge difference with people who are living in a country right now where they're feeling tremendous oppression, and we feel it closing in.